from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
And your soul is not how people see you living. So every experience is like your guidebook. Cause we young and we free. What we dream we could be. So come on and dream it. Come along and do it. Push yourself and build it. Listen to me. They call me the messenger. I never tell me lie. This is the story of a ghetto guy. Could only see it with an open eye. From the bottom I go so and fly. Yes, I am the messenger. I come to ignite, transform to the defender, jam into the light. I talk the truth, I never tell me lie. This is the story of a ghetto guy. Could only see it with an open eye. From the bottom we could reach the sky. We draw our power from the ancestors. an open eye. From the bottom we could reach the sky. Never tell me lie. This is the story of a ghetto guy. Could only see it with an open eye. From the bottom I go so and fly. Yes, I am the messenger. I come to ignite, transform to the defender, jam into the light. I talk the truth, I never tell me lie. This is the story of a ghetto guy. Could only see it with an open eye. Yes, I am the messenger. I come to ignite.
Rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show. Bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Yes, I am the messenger. I come to ignite.
Well, everybody, good morning to you. Good morning to you. And of course, welcome to it. Good to have you here. It is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio. Heartbeat of the Caribbean. Yes, we're going to take you above and beyond. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago. Neighbors in the Caribbean. People who are streaming all around the globe, different time zones and spaces. Good to have you. Let me say much thanks as always to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day and of course another week. And all that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing unto you.
This is the story of a ghetto guy.
Yes, Richard Charles, check it in.
Yes, I am the messenger.
You know, I'm happy to be in this space with you, right? Because this is your Get Up and Go.
Defender.
Monday to Friday. It's the best space because this is your breakfast show.
Get up, get up. It's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Morocco's Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your double or your morning drink. Good morning. Good morning. Open your eyes, feel the light. Everything's gonna be alright. Good morning. We're wishing you a colorful day. Let the sunshine guide you on your way. Smile a little, let your worries fade. Good morning, may your heart feel light and free. So much joy in everything you see. Good morning, yeah, a beautiful day. Good morning.
Well, that's new. So good morning. Good morning. So good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are across the planet. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show on this Monday morning. Of course, good morning to my co-host Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard. Good to have you as always. I tell myself, I said, what, wait, now, is yesterday or is next week? It's next week. Okay, so yes, we'll see him with you this morning. So good to be here. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. And the reason I left Richard for last is because, you know, it's so, he said that's new. Richard, we've been doing that on a Monday morning for a while.
Oh, I don't know it at all.
Yeah, because he's not normally on Monday morning, man.
That's exactly what I realized. I said, but wait, he hasn't been on first thing on a Monday morning for a while. So that's why he said that's new.
Yes.
So he came up,
Normally, he comes in on a Monday, sometimes 20 past, all that kind of time. We already gone past that.
Yeah. So what's new is your first thing on a Monday morning.
That's a very welcome.
Anyway, we're happy to be the land of the living. Happy birthday to those celebrating birthdays today and, of course, over the weekend. And condolences to those who would have lost loved ones. Counted among those are people in Israel, Iran, and some parts of the Arab nations, all right, who would have lost loved ones. And also not forgetting Cuba, because I was reading a story, I don't know how true it is, of everybody who was in a hospital, I don't know if it's a particular hospital on ventilators, passed away, died because of the electricity situation, I think, and the medication in Cuba. I don't know how true that story is, but a lot of people were sharing it over the weekend, because Cuba is in some dire straits because of course, the sanctions placed on them by the United States. That has escalated in the last few months. And also, I mean, we've seen what's happening in this war with Israel, America, and Iran. The Iranians, as I said, as we had predicted, they are not giving up. They are not giving up. And now Netanyahu is warning Europe that they have ballistic missiles capable of reaching to cities inside of Europe, and that they need to join the war. So I don't know if it's a strategy to try to get other European nations to try to join and help them, but that's what I saw as breaking news over the weekend also.
Yeah, something
I
that is.
I suppose the Europeans are reluctant because, and well, the other allies are reluctant because their sense of the entire situation is you didn't consult us.
Yeah.
You just did this on your own, and now you did it on your own, and now you want us to assist in a decision you made without any consultation.
Yeah.
So I think that's why there is a reluctance, an obvious reluctance of any of the U.S. usual allies to join this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
But didn't go through the usual... usually there'll be a lot of diplomatic scenes going on behind, diplomatic talks going on behind the scenes, where they're saying, even if it's just an informing of, but I don't think a lot of that happened. So that's why I think a lot of countries are like, you made this decision.
Yeah.
It's affecting the world generally because of the price of oil and gas, but because of the price,
lives that are being lost, Richard. Thousands of lives being lost, Because
not only in Iran, it's not only in Iran, but what Israel is also doing in Lebanon and what's happening elsewhere. Not only that, the attacks by Iran on Gulf states. Yeah, so it's a lot.
It's going on and on and on, and as I say, now the America talking about certain peace talks and so on. So it's you start something and now you don't know how to stop it. You know what I mean? And the way you threaten to stop it is to kill more people. That's how you threaten to stop it.
Because I think even some of his advisors had advised against going against Iran, that Iran was not like a Venezuela in terms of its response.
Yeah.
But of course, that whatever council that was made in that direction was ignored.
Yep.
I think what probably would have contributed to that. You remember last year when there were some strikes when they went after some nuclear areas where they said they bombed the mountains and they had destroyed this and that and that. So the way that they were able to get in and get out before people in Iran probably woke up, they probably told themselves, well, that would have been the norm. It would be a walk in the park. But clearly...
Well, Donald Trump is telling the world
That's called hubris.
He is telling the world that Iran has no more missiles, no more leaders, no more this, no more that. You understand? He's telling the world that he's finished off everything there. They have no more ships. They're all at the bottom of the ocean. Well, Iran has something, but it's still fighting.
Clearly, their stockpile of weaponry is very, very large.
Mm-hmm.
And because Iran has been preparing for this for decades, and for some sort of U.S. aggression under whichever president, and also the U.S. probably, well, President Trump probably thought that he could have just entered and left, and that it would have been a 2-day or a 3-day incursion and it's done, but that's not what it is. It's now a month later.
Yeah.
This is the 4th week.
Yes.
So, and obviously a lot of Americans are not in support. I think the majority of Americans are not in support of this war with Iran. So he's getting pushed back, not only internationally from allies, but you're also getting pushed back internally from US citizens who are saying, no, we never, their vote, in terms of polls taken, the majority are not in favor of it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, because it's you never know how things can escalate even further.
Yeah.
In terms of once you're in war, you know, things can go in all sorts of directions.
Yeah.
So
let me just add to the breaking news, of course, that this morning. At LaGuardia Airport in New York, an Air Canada plane collided with a fire truck on the runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport on Sunday. It happened on Sunday, killing the pilot and co-pilot and injuring 2 others. Right, so that's some breaking news that we have for you. That happened at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
Yeah, I
think they closed the airport to deal with the situation too.
Yeah, and that's a huge airport. I've never traversed through that airport, but I've passed by it. It's a huge airport.
No, I've gone through LaGuardia already.
I've never used LaGuardia.
I have a short clip courtesy of CNN. So this is a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
Ahí está.
Truck 1 and Company with Guardia Tower requesting to cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company 4 at Delta. Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop. Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Yeah, 646, I see you collide with vehicle here, just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Yeah.
The traffic controllers, I always seem to keep their cooler.
Yeah, well, you have to, eh?
Yeah, they don't ever sound panicked. They don't ever, go, stop, the plane, stop. They don't ever get that.
Yeah.
They always sound very measured. Stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1. Air Canada flight, prepare for impact. If they're saying that, I don't know if they will. But, they always sound very, I suppose they're trained that way. I suppose they're trained that way to be very calm in any kind of emergency situation. But me, the drama in my mind is,
I can imagine the cuss words gonna come out. Oh, what? Stop the F. Stop. Look, fire.
I try that out.
Our Trinidadian air traffic controllers, I am sure, are the same. That they are trained to speak that way, that they're not to be panicked by whatever situation. I'm sure Captain Ron, when he calls in, will indicate that they probably trained that way. Even if it's an absolute emergency, that they don't they're very they keep their tones calm. It's just like, I suppose, when people on planes and they're going through turbulence, people look at the flight attendants, and if the flight attendants look like they panic, then people will panic even more. So the flight attendants are trained, obviously, I assume, not to show panic. Even though for them turbulence will not be a panicked situation.
No, you get accustomed to turbulence. Yeah.
But for passengers, many passengers, turbulence is like, oh my God, something is going on.
Yeah. Hey there, people. Let's talk about good news and come back. Yeah?
We often think our anger is about them, the person who was rude, disrespectful, careless. But here's the twist. More often than not, it's not about them at all. It's about the story you were telling yourself, the silent expectation you had that the other person didn't even know they were supposed to meet. See, anger shows up when reality doesn't match the mental script you were holding. You expected someone to be more thoughtful. You expected loyalty or gratitude or a simple thank you. And when you didn't get it, your mind screams, "This isn't how it's supposed to go." But who said how it's supposed to go? Did the other person agree to your terms? Did they even know what your terms were? Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That hits hard, because what if your anger isn't just a reaction, but a mirror? What if it's showing you something unresolved inside you, something worth exploring rather than suppressing or exploding over? Stoicism teaches us to challenge our assumptions. So if someone else's behavior makes you mad, the Stoic response isn't to lash out. It's to pause, to trace that anger back to its root, to ask, what was I hoping for that didn't happen? What belief just got threatened? Let's make this real. Your friend cancels on you again, and you're fuming. Not because of the cancellation itself, but because somewhere in your mind, there's a belief. People who care about me follow through. They don't flake. And maybe that belief comes from past letdowns. Maybe from a place where you felt unimportant or forgotten. That's not weakness. It's human. But the key is recognizing that the anger isn't about this one cancelled plan. It's about a deeper wound being touched. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And when it comes to emotion, especially anger, examining it is where the wisdom lives. Instead of reacting blindly, you start asking, why did this bother me so much? Why this and why now? And just like that, you go from being controlled by your emotions to learning from them.
Yeah, a little lesson on anger management.
Well, there are lots of lessons. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through them this week, because is that an AI voice, Richard? Because that voice is used a lot for those types of presentations. Is it an AI thing?
I don't know.
It's not such a common voice.
It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's AI voices are usually voices of from people who have allowed their voices to be used as data sets.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it may change it slightly and stuff. But
yeah. Thank you, Sir Charles. So let's greet the folks in the chat now. Lots of chatter this morning. Of course, we're just coming out of a long weekend, the Eid weekend. That, strange enough, on Friday, the government basically almost kind of declared a holiday this Saturday also. Because Friday was the Eid holiday, we celebrated Eid. And then they said that Saturday is also, they canceled all the games, online games also too, on this Saturday to celebrate Eid. So,
yeah, but that doesn't translate into a public holiday.
But it kind of almost did in a way.
When a public holiday is designated, salaries change for businesses.
No, but they had also said that is not going to be affected. That remains the same.
That it's not a holiday.
Yes, that your salary will not be changed. So
that means it's not a holiday. They're just canceling the NLCB games.
Yes. So if you were looking out to play your marks on Saturday, you were disappointed.
No, you could have played them on Sunday, because Sunday you could not play.
And that caused another debate
About
Christians, from people who are Christian oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Christian holidays, they don't allow NLCB games.
I know, but I'm saying
Sunday is not a Christian day. It's not a day that all the Christians celebrate.
Right.
It's not a public holiday. It's not a holiday for Christians.
Right, but I'm speaking specific to what happened over the weekend. That Friday was the Eid holiday, and then all of a sudden you cancel all the games on the Saturday.
Right, because Eid was really being celebrated on a Saturday. You know what? Which is a minor, silly point on my part, but there are gatherings and limes on Eid by Muslims, where you're invited to and stuff like that. What I was wondering is what happened, because a lot of those invitations would have been for Friday.
Yes.
Did they shift to Saturday? Because they
did it twice.
Was that what happened? People did it twice?
I know one person who did it twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened, because, I was like, because, you don't want to break fast, because it will still be theoretically, you're not allowed to break fast yet.
Yeah. But that's not, I don't think that has happened before. I mean, we have had issues over the sighting of the moon and so on before. But I don't think we have ever heard the announcement that the next day will also be the Eid, celebrate Eid. I don't think, and the government cancelling whatever they were doing in terms of the games. I don't think we've ever had a situation like that before.
So was it like a miscalculation of the sighting, or what?
I don't know if it was.
No, the sighting of the moon is always, I suppose, another 100% certain thing.
Yeah, it's like on the day itself then.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
because
won't know.
Because sometimes the days are off for Trinidad. I always find, is it Diwali too, that sometimes the days off, we are like a day early and then the rest of the work? Or is it Eid? Sometimes the days are off.
Because Eid has to do with the sighting of the moon.
Yeah, so sometimes the days are slightly off. But anyway.
What they do is predict the day of the sighting of the moon and declare the holiday that day. But sometimes they're off by a day.
Yeah, but sometimes they're off by a day.
Yeah. Anyway, life goes on. Robert Allen says good morning, and to all viewers and listeners to this program. Eunice Dublin, Odell Guy, Erica Charles also says good morning. Ron DeSantis Jr., what is he saying? Real show of patriotism and leadership by Elon Musk if he pays TSA salaries. Now fine. Okay, I'm not sure what he did. Beefy Smith Beefy Smith also says good morning. Marcia Rock out there in Orlando, Florida. Apollonius Kenny in Harlem. Boy Bidesi from DB. Marlon Motley from North Valsain. Doreen Pierre. Mrs. R, Crystal Stevenson, Manuela Peters, also saying happy birthday to Anne-Marie Daniel, who celebrated her big day yesterday. All right, so happy birthday, Anne-Marie Daniel. That's coming from Manuela Peters on The Breakfast Show. Carol Guevara says, good morning, Nadia Nicola McNichols. Where did I get Nadia from? Nicola McNichols. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Valerie Mendoza, aka Miss Dabadi, Robert Taylor from Fernandina Beach, Garvin Frank, Powder Magazine, Arlene Lois, Dave Gosine, Merle McCormick, Alistair Hart, Felix Cazo, Sankofa, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Ian Stewart, Sankofa is saying, okay, same greeting. Bernadette and Nelicia Yates, David McCarthy says top of the day and a magical Monday to all, maximum respect to the terrific trio. Manager TTU, Norris Ferguson, Julia Samantha, Estelita Sampson, Helen Prescott, Scorpion Pepper, Carla Hercules, Rena Budu Jennings, Kurt Hope from Nashville, Tennessee, Debbie Modest, Diane Payne, Richard M. Jeremiah, CJ from New York, morning CJ. Kurt Hope is saying the right to defend itself. Rena Jennings, power to Iran. Ingrid is saying, you are correct, Wendell, regarding Cuba. It's a very sad situation. Yeah, we try to get into that before the week is out. A little more into that is. Dean Allen says, hi, everyone. Wendell, don't forget Gaza. The Palestinian people are still dying at the hands of Israel. Very correct. Victor Philip, good morning. Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. Scorpion Pepper says, but 1 minute they don't need you up and next they're begging them. True, eh? Well, guess who's doing that? Hubris for real. Kurt Hope, Iran giving them the FAFO. Shoma Paul, good morning. Ron DeSantis, Wendell aside what Netanyahu said, Iran lied to the world saying their missile capabilities were limited. Well, yeah, who tells everybody else what their capabilities are actually. I don't know that anybody will do that. And Iran just did the same, and now they're surprising them with missiles that could reach cities in Europe. Robert Allen, don't trouble people here when people ain't trouble you. Kurt Hope, Iran exposed the true nature of the US and also shows that we are not so invincible. Estelita Sampson, do you think Miss Condoleezza, I think it's Condoleezza Rice, will help Donald Trump? She was escorted to his office, so is that so? Scorpion Pepper is also saying the latest threat to open Hormuz from Taco. Well, let's see what happens. Chris Tusa, Grand Rising, gentlemen. People's concern in the US is that the money being spent on the war could have been spent on social services in the USA. Scorpion Pepper is chatting. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Trini Merle Kitchen from Oshawa, Ontario. Chris Tusa, how do you not show panic when things go wrong? Do you like Richard? Richard is calm except when he getting whipped from Paloma.
Wonder Woman?
From Paloma. Magic says, Grand Rising, gentlemen. Ava Smith, blessed morning. Richard Wendell. Deborah Noel Surratt says good morning also. Let me get some new people in here. Stick Money Grip, Lester Cragwell, Margarita Chow, Beauty Culture says good morning. Both days are celebrated. Yes, they did. Wendy and James says this is not strange, as in the past the moon was not sighted and Muslims celebrated the day after, and it was not a holiday. Mental mastery. Alistair Hart says the rest of the world celebrated Eid on Friday, but Trini special. Well, we did Friday and Saturday for some people. Kim Govaya, good morning. Margaret Thomas, Colted Finch. Chris Sousa is saying Elon Musk has offered to pay TSA workers. Okay. And Carlisle Cupid also says good morning. Those are all the greetings on the chat, guys.
All right. So on the WhatsApp, let me say good morning to Archbishop Ashton Clark in Canada. Fifi out there in Addis Ababa. CJ is also here on this chat very early. Thank you very much for the videos, CJ. Kent in Laventil. Vincent Ashton, good morning to you. Frank in Aruka. Peter Wilson, good morning to you, my friends. Suzanne, it's good to have you up very early. Carlin and Kelly coming out of Caranage. Chris in Kirap, early rising to you. Captain Ron in Orlando. Mr. Billy in Powder Magazine. And of course, all the people who are picking us up on the Gaia stream, we welcome you this morning, right? So stay with us. When we come back, we'll look and see what's happening in the newspapers that we have left. All right, we're coming back.
Now, due to phenomenal public demand, Scandal in Cedrus now comes to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. Saturday the 28th of March at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 29th at 6:30 p.m. This is theater at its finest and funniest. Don't miss it. Box office opens at Cipriani College on Monday the 23rd of March, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Cedrus, Cipriani College. We come in. Scandal in Cedrus.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Save more now at Furniture Plus. Get a pair of pillows for only $49, queen mattresses from $7.99, free gifts with select purchases, plus extra discounts on higher purchase plans. Hurry, visit any Furniture Plus showroom today.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End Times is here. Stay tuned.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newera@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Of course, our guest, we have two Wendells in the next hour because we have a guest in the next hour from the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago, PSOTT. The communications officer is none other than Wendell Constantine. He will be our guest in the second hour to tell us a bit about that organization. So listen out for it. You know, growing up, people either used to call me Wendell Motley or Wendell Constantine. And then the other day, somebody called me Wendell Eversley. I said, no to all of them. I wonder if people ever call the other Wendell's team. We'll find out later on. Anyway. People call me all their names, you know. Anyway, let's get to the newspapers. Scorpion Pepper, you are right. We do have that entire series on Stoicism. And we will play a bit more of it for you as the mornings go on, right? Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander has condemned former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, saying he was irresponsible and reckless, and called his behavior, his language, Wajang language. But at least it was proper English. Children of Cain spark economic revival. That's one of the stories trending. Sangre Grande killing takes murder toll to 72. And of course, there was an episode by the home of Danny Guerra, who got murdered a week or so ago. I don't know if anybody was killed in that exchange. There was a lot of shooting apart, gunfire at the home.
Yeah.
Coming back slowly. Sorry?
Yeah, I don't think they said anybody was home at the time.
Right, okay. But the home was shut up.
Yeah.
Weather. Camille Bax Rowley blasts government outrage. Molly meth seized, suspect held, and US $4 million fertility center opens in Aranguez. Those are all trending stories in today's Express Online. All right?
All right, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning, and the main headlines. Rowley and government at odds over Hilton's future in Trinidad and Tobago. Concerns over a possible exit by international hotel chain Hilton have sparked political debate, even as industry stakeholders caution against alarm and call for measured engagement. So that was a story that broke over the weekend that Hilton was considering exiting the arrangement with the Trinidad Hilton, which has been something there for as long as I can remember. I can't remember it being called anything else but the Trinidad and Tobago Hilton.
True.
I can't remember it being called anything else. That Trinidad Hilton in Growing Up Lady Young. So anyway, that's one of the stories that broke and over the weekend, and of course it continues. Minors detained under SOE well protected by law. The Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago says minors detained under the ongoing state of emergency are well taken care of while in custody, following questions surrounding the detention of a 16-year-old boy under the special powers recently. TNT unveils repatriation plan for nationals in Middle East camps. Former CPEP board members sued over $1.4 billion pre-election contract extensions. Bats raised in farewell to murdered cricketer. Homes seized. Church targeted in Homes raised and church targeted in suspected arson attacks. In business news, investment protection agreements TNT's gateway to the world on February 3rd, 2026, it was announced that the governments of Trinidad and Tobago and the United Arab Emirates signed an agreement for the promotion and reciprocal protection of investment. Though welcome news, it is worthy to bear in mind that this agreement is but one of many which afford various benefits to TNT investors. Climate change exposes disaster relief gap, says expert. Japanese ambassador, TNT has good materials for success, but regulations and branding holding country back. O-Deliver seeks expansion through same-day service, and TNT's foreign reserves. Let me not go to that story, because that story was confusing. Because Guardian, that story is confusing. I don't know if you all know that. When you all said that reserves slipped to US $5.58 billion. But in the story, you're saying it was 5.3, and then it went to 5.58. But you're saying it's not a slip. Exactly. So it was confusing. It was confusing. So I don't know, a lot of people were commenting when it came out on social media.
Must you call that a slip up then, Richard?
Yeah, maybe. That's a slip up. Yes. So anyway, that's the Trinidad and Tobago Garden for this morning.
All right, those are all our trending stories. Of course, none of them though put another story that surfaced over the weekend about TAT. Is it TAT? Telecommunications Authority, concerning the comments that former Prime Minister made that CNC3 should be investigated for airing those comments. I think it was based on a narrative from Gideon Hanuman Singh, who had said that the television station was irresponsible for airing those comments, and those comments.
Was it just CNC3? I think they were saying television stations that broadcasted the media report. I found that entire situation ridiculous.
It is that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how. Why
should a press conference? They carried the press conference, and the word "jamet" is not a curse word. If that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
You understand? So
doesn't the Parliament channel, Richard? The point I was making was this. Sorry to cut you, but the point I want to get this out before you continue. The point I was making with Sir Charles this morning is that the Parliament channel airs Parliament, and some of the most derogatory things are said in the Parliament. I don't know that the Parliament channel could be investigated for airing that because it's coming live. You understand?
But theoretically, they could be if according to these rules from that. But of course, you give a certain amount of license to what people are saying and stuff like that. But certainly, that runs the risk of seeming political because of the incident. And if TAT is concerned about its regulatory independence, tread carefully is all I would say.
Yeah. But we're gonna poll it this morning to get a sense of what people think. But maybe we could change the part of the poll where it says CNC3, because it was about CNC3. You understand? And put /media, Sir Charles, right? Sir Charles?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Let's say that part of it.
I don't know something else, but
yeah. Right?
Anyway, at this point, we'll do our Did You Know, and we'll be right back and open up the lines. We'll do our Did You Know, and we'll be right back.
No, I thought something else was happening in the background there.
All right, okay. It's Alexa.
Did you know a religion practiced right here in Trinidad and Tobago was once banned by law? For more than 30 years, worshippers could be fined, arrested, or jailed just for praising God in their traditional way. The Spiritual Shouter Baptist faith grew out of the experience of formerly enslaved Africans and their descendants. After emancipation, many people built new communities while holding on to their African spiritual roots. Over time, those traditions blended with Protestant Christianity and Baptist teachings. The result was a unique Caribbean form of worship that was deeply expressive and spirit-filled. Services included loud singing, clapping, and call and response praise. Bells were rung as a sacred call to worship. Worshippers moved in rhythm as they prayed. Some shouted in praise, others entered deep spiritual prayer. To believers, this was holy worship. But to British colonial authorities, it seemed loud, strange, and disorderly. In 1917, the government passed a law called the Shouters Prohibition Ordinance. The law made it illegal to practice the faith in public. Many religious services were forcefully broken up by the colonial police, driving the faith underground. Devout worshippers were frequently tracked down and fined heavily for practicing their faith. Tragically, some were even arrested and thrown into jail just for their spiritual beliefs. Congregations were forced to meet in secret. They gathered in backyards, forests, and remote areas just to pray freely. Elders kept the faith alive. Families passed the traditions from one generation to the next. What was meant to silence a people's faith became a quiet act of spiritual resistance. Today, that once banned faith is a powerful symbol of resilience, religious freedom, and cultural pride in Trinidad and Tobago. If you didn't know, now you know. Stay tuned to NewEraTTRadio.net Radio for more great content.
Of course, Shout Out Baptist Day is coming up.
Monday is another long weekend. Yeah, it's another long weekend, but it will be the Monday.
It'll be the Monday, yes. Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day. I think that's what it's called officially. Yeah, that's coming up on the end of March. So holiday, a long holiday weekend, followed by another long holiday weekend because we go straight into Easter weekend.
Easter weekend, yeah. So you have 3 consecutive long weekends, kind of. Yeah. Of course, that's the longest weekend of them all. But certainly, yeah. So you have a nice weekend this weekend because not only do you have the Shout Out Baptist Holiday Liberation Day holiday on Monday, you have theater on this weekend. That's what you have. So you have laughter on this weekend with Scandal in Cedras finally coming to Cipriani College. We're finally in East Trinidad. So we'll be at Cipriani College on Saturday, 8:30 and Sunday, 6:30 this week. Of course, the box office at Cipriani College opens today from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And of course, you can get your tickets at the usual outlets. You know them, but just in case you don't, I'll tell you. K-Squared Fashions in Westmore, East Gates, and in Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. Jabili Rawi in Tunapuna. Alextronics in Arima has tickets. And of course, you also have tickets at Anthony's Florence in Valpark Shopping Plaza and Charfleur Auto Services in Charfleur. You can also see the methodology to purchase tickets online by going to RSR Productions Theatre on social media. Tickets will also go on sale today for our San Fernando shows, which will be on the 11th and 12th of April, where we go back to San Fernando at Sapa. So tickets will go on sale from today, I believe. They will have tickets and the South outlets are K-Squared and C3 Center, K-Squared Brentwood Mall for that South show, and of course, Offense of Marabella by the Roundabout. So yes, San Fernando, we're coming back because the response has been phenomenal when we were in San Fernando, nothing less than phenomenal. And we will be back in San Fernando on the 11th and 12th of April and at Sapa this time. So look forward to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, we do have a guest in the second hour from the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Wendell Constantine will be our guest in the next hour. But we could take some calls now, 281-1315, 299-5156. Lots happening all over the place, including a lot of crime here still in Trinidad and Tobago. Murders. So let's take some calls now. I know a lot of you will have a lot to say.
There were so many murders over the weekend or something like that I missed.
Yeah, there were quite a bit of killings and shootings and all manner of things over the weekend.
I know the Danny Guerra's sons, that the house was shut up.
Mm-hmm.
But there were murders over the weekend. You said murders. There's so many murders over the weekend. I don't know. I'm asking.
No, maybe I'm dramatizing it too much, like you.
But I don't dramatize it.
No, I'm just saying the crimes continued unabated and under an SOE. Nothing is, it just seems nothing is stopping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's take the calls. Good morning to you, caller. Ms. Sampson, good morning. Ms. Sampson. Not yet, Ms. Sampson.
She watching Gael and thinking she not on air.
Yeah, Gael is on promptly this morning.
Yeah, we are on. But you know, Gael is slightly behind us, right? Behind the live thing. So
that's
probably where she's getting.
Caller, good morning. Are you there?
Well, it's now clear that you're not pressing some now.
It's Sir Charles. It's Sir Charles then. It's not Miss
It's
Sampson.
obviously a Sir Charles movement. It's obviously Sir Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Charles can.
Yep. And you say, oh gosh, I forget to flick this.
You gotta go and reset the phones. Go and reset the phones. Charles. Morning, Steve, wherever you are.
Oh, God. I was about to lie with Steve, you know. I spoke with him sometime a couple of weeks ago, and I said I had to come and lie with him.
Do you get the constant messages from that other one, the doctor one?
No, I don't get any messages from him.
I get messages from him every day. He's keeping me abreast of all what's happening in the news all over.
Oh, no.
Let me check again. Miss Sampson, hold on.
Is as dangerous as Jamet when you think it's a man you're talking to. And do you think Condoleezza Rice is going to help Donald Trump get out the mess that he get himself into? She was escorted into his office to help solve the problem.
Condoleezza Rice, was she still around?
Yeah, she was escorted into Trump office to negotiate the mess here and there.
Okay.
I didn't see that story at all. Nowhere, Miss Sampson.
But you read it in the stream, Wendell, when we were discussing.
No, I read what she said, but I haven't seen the story anyway. Is Miss Sampson self put it in the stream?
Oh.
Yeah. But I haven't seen the story anywhere else.
Thanks, Miss Sampson. Yeah. Condoleezza Rice, that's somehow that name song so way back, boy.
Yeah, it is.
To me, you know. Hello, good morning, caller.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you going?
We are good.
Well. How are you doing?
Yeah. Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles, the three musketeers.
Morning.
Well, brother, I just got up and I said, well, 5 o'clock, I'm going to wait for all you to see you next week again. According to all you, in the land and the living. And I hope everything will work good because I watched the news last night. It is song is so good, you know. The news song is so good at all for me. Because the Iran ain't getting up, you know. They say they're going right down. All you have to come show by the homes over there, they call it. And you see that's really problem. And they say all the people who helped America and Israel launch the missiles, they're hitting all of them. Because, you understand? So we have to be careful, We have to be careful. Anyhow, my brother, all the best for the week and stay tuned.
Yeah. Right? Take care, Mr. Grant. Over the weekend too, Robert Mueller, the former head of the FBI, passed away. And the President of the United States says, I'm glad he's dead. I mean, if that is not as insensitive as you could get.
Wow.
I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
That's what Donald Trump said about
that is insensitive to a whole different level there right now. Wow. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning, Zena.
Good morning, Zena.
To all my the puff girls.
Zena?
Go ahead, Zena. Are you all right?
I think she hung up, you know. I think she moved on.
She just went on. She just called to say morning, Lady Powder Puff Girls.
No, that's what you call a sleep call.
She lying down on the phone on NETT
No,
Radio.
the girl sleep call. She turn on, so she kind of semi in dreamland and semi awake. And morning to the powder puff girls and morning and then she gone and then she gone again. So when she get up, actually, she will say, "Did I really call the Power Breakfast Show? Not Power Breakfast Show, my goodness. The Breakfast Show. Did I call the Breakfast Show or did I just dream that?" That's what
She
she
might
really
actually
said.
say the Power Breakfast though. No, you know.
But,
Yeah.
well, she might. She might.
She's in that
because
zone.
She's so deep in that zone. That's how she's done.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Norfolk, Virginia, front and center. I have a question about Dr. Rowley's press conference. Was it done live by what was the station? Hanuman Singh say to?
No, it wasn't carried live by any television station.
Okay, and it was not live.
It was live on Facebook.
Oh, okay, right. Because the simple solution to that most of the media out in parts of the world, normally when they do a transmission, there's normally like a 4-second or a 3-second delay. You know, especially during those award shows where some of these people have no license to their mouth, they might just drop a F-bomb or something, you know. And so that's a simple solution to deal with that. But I ain't getting into this thing about Jamet, whether this or there's more important things to focus on, right, guys?
So what we're focusing on this morning is the how I should put it, the regulations that they want to put into the media. That's what we're going to be polling. Should media be investigated for rebroadcasting certain comments? That's
messed up, man. That's messed up, big time. Yeah. Anyway, hey, and Wendell, in the chat, I was saying that not only TSA isn't being paid, but also Coast Guard and other agencies, you know, like contractors and stuff who work with all the branches of the military and stuff. This is so wrong, because you know what? Those Democrats and Republicans, they're still getting their salary. And that pisses me off, right? And we've had four strikes already from sleeper cells inside the US. But anyway, guys, have a good day, okay? God bless.
Yeah. All right, take care. Flying to the United States is a horror when TSA have a go slow striking.
Well, there are enough videos on social media showing you the horror and the chaos and the lines and lines and lines and lines.
Yeah. JFK already have long lines when they're not on strike. Could you imagine a strike at JFK? My God, no.
Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Wendell, Richard.
Morning.
So, Charles, remember I sent you a clip concerning something that was said under the auspices of the in Parliament by KPB, and I told you to tell me what is your take on that with respect to the other comment that was debated quite for a long while last week.
Yes.
The fact remains is that our politics right now is at its lowest in Trinidad and Tobago. And it has become so sinister. It comes like a tit for tat. One says something, the other one says something. But here what is going. When the other one says, it's on the wrong foot. When the other one says it's on the right foot, it's come like you're putting your left shoes on your right foot. And you know, every day we have to put up with this. That is not good for us. That is not healthy for our nation. We come too far. We have gained independence, right? We have become a republic, you know, and, you know, it's so terrible. A little country like Trinidad and Tobago has become the little America of the Caribbean. No, we have to be dragged through the mud at the lowest ever that I have been, that I have known to be experiencing. And, you know, gentlemen, it is not nice. It is not nice. We have to find a way. How would we find a way to get out? The crime situation, all these things. As a matter of fact, you all said, which I believe, that the SOE is not making any difference. Because where is the police service to solve the crime? Where are they when they are most needed? They are not working. They are not working the way they should, at least. You know, but anyway, let me just say too long. You all have other people to call in. Have a blessed day.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Our poll is up. Do you agree with Tat that the media should be investigated for airing controversial comments from politicians? Yes or no? But I just quickly wanted to say this in light of what Ms. Robert Allen just contributed there, right? You know, we've been quarreling about the noise and about the aggressiveness and about the language coming from our leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I know that Mrs. Penelope Beckles isn't the most, should I use the word vibrant of politicians or outspoken. She has a quiet demeanor. And maybe that's what we need, you know. Maybe that's exactly what the country needs. A quiet demeanor, somebody quiet and reticent like Penelope Beckles to run this place. Because we complain about the noise, but yet still we complaining how she too quiet and she ain't talking enough. What we really want.
Well, Wendell, you're opening the doorway to all of the internal bacchanal taking place in the PNM, which started to surface in social media and I think in some media over the last few days. That there seems to be a cohort of people internally in the PNM that are trying to unseat or oppose the current leader. Is that correct? You are in the belly of the beast, so you could tell us if all of this is true.
Well, first beginning, PNM is not a beast, and I'm not.
It's a saint. Sorry, in the belly of the saint, because it's a saint.
And I'm not in the belly, but at the same time, you're right. You're right that there seems to be all these internal issues. But guess what? You're complaining about the former leader. You're complaining about the current leader. You're complaining what you really want. You're complaining about the former prime minister. You're complaining about the current prime minister. What you really want? You want noise, continuous noise and aggression and thing, or you want a nice calm demeanor? What you really want? Make up all your mind. We can pull that one.
Well, it's a juxtaposition, obviously, between the current approach of the current prime minister, which is, very bravidage. Well, they hold it up, big bad UNC. That's a poster they have up as reflective of this new leadership style. And then you have Penelope Beckles Robinson, who comes across much more, well, that word that they used to have trending on social media, demure, and more, reticent in how she speaks, and, not necessarily controversial in her statements. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So you have a clear choice, but I think some of the power brokers and the PNM have so many power brokers. Correct me if I'm wrong, Wendell, but a lot of those behind the scene who are not even elected officials are already concerned about that persona going into the elections, general elections, roughly close to 4 years plus from now, unless the current prime minister calls it earlier, because she sees there's some advantage in calling it earlier. But
right. So hold on to your thoughts, guys.
Other than that, you have that.
These guys
are concerned about that.
Oh, gosh. All right, hold on. We're going for the news, and you guys will continue with that conversation on the other side.
The news you
Well,
need.
might as well consider
Clarity
continuous
deserved.
knowledge.
Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now for Monday, the 23rd of March, on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The United States is assisting Trinidad and Tobago with infrastructure to support an advanced passenger screening system aimed at identifying potential threats before travelers arrive. Prime Minister Kamma Prasad Besessar made the announcement following Eid al-Fitr celebrations, outlining measures to strengthen national security. She says legislation for the Advanced Passenger Information System, or APIS, is expected soon, which will allow authorities to vet passengers prior to arrival. The system will work alongside new online immigration forms now being introduced at the country's ports of entry. The Prime Minister says the initiative forms part of broader efforts to modernize border security through international cooperation. She also defended the ongoing state of emergency, noting that murders have declined, but further reductions are needed. Meanwhile, she confirmed that a U.S.-operated radar system previously based in Tobago has been removed, stating it had been beneficial but was withdrawn due to changing priorities by U.S. authorities. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure says repairs to pavements and related infrastructure are being prioritized as funding becomes available. Works Minister Jerlene John says the Highways Division conducts fortnightly inspections to identify areas requiring maintenance, with work prioritized based on road conditions, traffic levels, and safety risks. She says repairs include resurfacing, reconstruction, and stabilization works across the country's road network. Along the southern main road, more than 100 defective or missing manhole covers and over 200 meters of pavement have been identified for repair. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padareth says an audit of street lighting has been completed, with plans for repairs and replacements. He says an aggressive program will be rolled out in the coming weeks as the government moves to address outdated infrastructure and ongoing power disruptions caused by aging systems. International hotel chain Hilton is preparing to withdraw its brand from the Hilton Trinidad and Conference Center after government failed to carry out critical upgrades needed to maintain international standards. Investigations reveal the move follows years of financial underperformance, delayed capital works, and a short-term extension of the hotel's lease, which expired in 2023. Under the agreement, the state, through NETT, is responsible for major repairs, while Hilton provides branding and management. But refurbishment works, estimated at over $600,000, have not been undertaken, with no funding allocated this fiscal year. The Communication Workers Union is also raising concern, citing low occupancy and reduced working hours for staff. While discussions between government and Hilton are ongoing, analysts say the one-year lease extension signaled a likely exit. Murders, kidnappings, and other serious crimes continue despite the ongoing state of emergency. Criminologists say the measure cannot fully deter criminal activity, noting it targets specific types of offenses while others persist. Data shows 76 murders recorded so far this year, compared with 85 at the same time last year. Criminologist Dr. Randy Seepersad says the SOE is structured to suppress gang-related killings, which account for about 40% of murders, particularly through increased police and military presence in high-crime areas. However, he says the remaining 60%, linked to domestic violence, robberies, and other disputes, require different interventions and are less predictable. Criminologist Darius Figuera adds that the SOE has limited impact on organized crime and crimes of passion, noting that criminal networks often operate outside its influence. Both experts say, while the SOE may reduce certain categories of crime, broader strategies are needed to address overall violence. Spiritual Baptists say they were initially denied permission to host a planned march in San Fernando, ahead of commemorations marking 75 years since the repeal of the Shouter Prohibition Ordinance. Police have since clarified the decision was due to a late application, not restrictions under the state of emergency. Head of the organization, King Shepherd Ray Brathwaite, says the group had planned a march following prayers, but proceeded with a modified observance. A wayside service was held on Harris Promenade to mark the start of a week of activities. Police say the request was submitted less than 48 hours before the event, short of the required 8-day notice needed for approvals. They add there would likely have been no issue granting permission if the application had been submitted on time. In international news, many Lebanese fear Israeli strikes on key infrastructure are aimed at isolating the south ahead of a possible ground invasion. Bridges and transport links have been targeted, raising concerns that displaced residents may be unable to return to affected areas. More than 1 million people have been forced from their homes, with entire communities destroyed and over 1,000 deaths reported since the conflict escalated. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has described the attacks on bridges as a dangerous escalation and a possible prelude to invasion, calling for international intervention. Israel maintains it is targeting Hezbollah, but the United Nations Human Rights Office has raised concerns that some strikes may violate international law. The conflict continues to intensify, with growing humanitarian concerns and displacement across the country. And that is news at this time. Stay with us. Excellent programming continues in a few moments.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Hot and groovy in the soca party. She's hot and groovy. Baila with me, baby. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. Pretending a soca party. When I see this Latin beauty. When I see she well shaped. With looks to hello my. I make a move and we started talking. She said I look like a distinguished yardie. Then she tell me, boy, I'm feeling the party. Show me emotion that gets my attention. Then jam me in a cozy corner and whisper softly to me. Move me and move me in this soca party. She said to move me and move me. Work up my body. Move me till I feel the pressure. Move me till I'm not all over. Move me till I squeeze you tight, tight, pushy until the party over. Hot and groovy in the soca party. She's hot and groovy. Baila with me, baby. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. She's my type, see the way how she flexing. This lady's one not in a million. Girl, I'm your huggy bear, my lady. Hold me anywhere, don't be shy. I just want more lyrics in her head. She did not accept it, she tell me. Words is only lip service, man. Only one day you could move it. Move me and move me in this soca party. She said to move me and move me. Work up my body. Move me till I feel the pressure. Move me till I'm not all over. Move me till I squeeze you tight, tight, pushy until the party over. Hot and groovy in the soca party. She's hot and groovy. Baila with me, baby. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. Bambi dambe dai. Be dambe by them by. Like the fire twice under the tension. When I feel the sweet sensation going through my body every time. She rub she titty on me, oh my. The way how she's flexing on me. Everybody watching at me. Again she put she up on the shoulder and whisper softly to me. Move me and move me in this soca party. She said to move me and move me. Work up my body. Music sweet, the compliment my señorita. Chiquitita. Ah. Give me the brass line. Give me the brass line. When the soca in the baila, it make the flex more better. Move me and move me in this soca party. When I see this Latin beauty, like I angel descend on me. Move me and move me, baila with me, baby. Move me and move me in this soca party. Just move me and move me, work up my body. Move me till I feel the pressure. Move me till I'm not all over. Move me till I squeeze you tight, tight, pushy till she come right over. Move me till I feel the pressure. Move me till I'm not all over. Move me till I squeeze you tight, tight, pushy until the party over. Hot and groovy, when the soca party. She's hot and groovy. Baila with me, baby. Hot and groovy.
Just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music
And yes, that is what we do. You get the best music, you get real talk, and you get it in real time, you know? Everybody, good morning to you once again, and of course, welcome inside the second hour of the breakfast show, happening right here on the New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, heartbeat of the Caribbean, taking you above and beyond. Let me say good morning to the Anthem crew. Yeah, those are the people that you just see about 5 minutes, 10 to. Yeah, they check in. So good morning to you, those of you that came in along the way and will stay along the way. Thank you very much for making NETT Radio your choice. And also let me say good morning to the folks on Gael Caribbean TV. Good morning to Gael people. And remember, when we come off of the dial and social media feeds after 8 o'clock, you can come across to newerattradio.com. For the folks on TuneIn, you can now pick us up on NETT Radio Trinidad. Yeah, so we're doing some adjustments with our handles over the next few days as NETT Radio celebrates 1 year. Come Monday, next week Monday. So all this week, we'll keep you updated as to all that's going to be happening, okay? So our morning poll is up. Do you agree with TAT, which is the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, that the media should be investigated for airing controversial comments made by politicians, right? You're voting yes or you're voting no. And we will tell you how you voted when we come back after the break.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Save more now at Furniture Plus. Get a pair of pillows for only $49, queen mattresses from $7.99, free gifts with select purchases, plus extra discounts on higher purchase plans. Hurry, visit any Furniture Plus showroom today.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
Now, due to phenomenal public demand, Scandal in Cedrus now comes to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. Saturday the 28th of March at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 29th at 6:30 p.m. This is theater at its finest and funniest. Don't miss it. Box office opens at Cipriani College on Monday the 23rd of March, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Cedrus, Cipriani College. We come in.
Scandal in Cedrus.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, everybody. So we are back here on the breakfast show on NETT Radio, New Era TT Radio. And of course, just to give you a little update as to what is taking place, because NETT Radio celebrates its anniversary on the 30th, which is next week, Monday. We celebrate 1 year of being here. The breakfast show that started on the 2nd of April will celebrate its 1 year anniversary. That'll be next week, what, Thursday? If I
2nd of April?
Yeah.
No, not Thursday. It has to be a Wednesday then. Because the Monday is the holiday, right?
Right.
The
Which
Monday
is
is John the
30th.
Baptist Day, so
I
that's the
think
30th.
Thursday.
Then it's Thursday, true?
Yeah, I think it's Thursday.
Okay, so the
31 days.
31st is Tuesday, 1st is Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, you're right. You're correct.
Yeah. All right. So we will be celebrating all of next week with you guys. And well, of course, the 30th is a holiday, so you'll be able to connect with us. We'll be taking all your voice notes for those who are not able to connect direct. And you will be able to request your favorite songs on that 30th because it is a holiday and you'll be live with the DJs on that day, you know. Also, over the next few days, you will see some changes taking place to our platforms where our branding is concerned. So, for example, like right now, the folks who are on TuneIn will get us on NETT Radio Trinidad. We were having some problems with the actual name in the beginning. People were not able to give their Alexa and Google devices instructions because the name was causing, it was not recognizing the name. So now you can do so. It is NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn, and our social media pages will reflect that over the next week or so, which is YouTube and Facebook. So you will look for NETT Radio Trinidad, but we'll update you as we go along and keep you in step. We won't do it all at once. We do it in phases so that we don't lose anybody.
All right. Yeah. We can get straight into the poll, Sir Charles. Do you agree with TAT that the media should be investigated by airing controversial comments from politicians? And of course, this all came about because CNT3 rebroadcast the words of the former Prime Minister, right? Much to their chagrin. So you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Kazim Mohammed says no. Ila Rizan, no. Robert Taylor, no. Helen Prescott, no. I know some other comments came in between here, but I'm focusing on the poll there, folks. Mrs. R, no. Annalie Johnson, no. Slick Money Grip, no. EBZ, no. Fran Romani, no. Kim Govaya, no. Sankofa, absolutely no. Carlisle Cupid, no. Beauty Culture, no. I don't know if this is for the poll, though, Beauty Culture, because it has my name at the end of it. So I don't know if you're telling me no about something or if it's the poll. Rena Jennings, no. Bernadette Yates, no. Lester Cragwell also says no. Colted Finch, hell no. Where are we? Oh, Lord. Marlon Motley, no. Dave Gosai, no. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, no. Scarla Hercules, no. Margaret Thomas, no. Diane Payne, no. Gregory Boyer, no. Joseph Clement, no. Was starting a coma. Victor Phillips says yes. Ron DeSantis, no. Deborah Noel Serret, no. Robert Allen, no. Shuma Paul, no. Alice Hart, no. Apollonius, yes. Avion Abraham, no. Trini Gets Fit, no. When is the new era boat cruise? We soon come, Lester. Kurt Hope, no. Beefy Smith, yes. Carol Guevara, no. They on, what's that word, Carol? Finbar Collins, no. Well, there was an F before it. I don't know what that's for. Must be forever, no. Okay. CJ, right, yeah, we got all that. Stacey Samuel, no. Get Curly Prescott on the show. Who's that? Send a contact and what's it about. Nicola McNichols, no. CJ from New York, no. Howard Hernandez, no. Eunice Dublin, no. Scorpion Pepper, no. Beauty Culture, no to the poll. Okay. All right. And to your comment. All right. Understood. Trini Merle Kitchen, no. Those are the votes I have in the chat. And of course, Magic voted no.
Okay. All right, so let's see what we have on the WhatsApp coming in. Where did it start? So I have Pauline saying yes. I have Peter Wilson saying yes. Zena saying hell no. Carlin and Kelly. How to get inside of this? Hell no. All right. Miss Sampson said no. Peter Ram saying yes. Sexy Red saying yes. Frankie Naruka saying no. Junior saying no. Kenwin saying yes.
And I have one more no from Wayne Joseph.
Okay, so 52 of you were on the poll business this morning. 45 of you said no, and 7 of you said yes.
Okay.
7 persons saying yes, and 45 persons saying no. That should not get involved. But 7 people saying yes, that should get involved. That will come in for a little licking at this point in time because of their inactiveness in the past. So when you get in at this point in time, I don't know if there's a new TAT board. If there's a new TAT board in place.
There is, Sir Charles. And didn't you see who is the head of TAT board?
Actually, no, I didn't know. Who's the head?
The son of a current government minister or MP.
Oh,
who's heading TAT?
Oh, the son of our present government minister.
Yes. A minister in the Ministry of Health. It's his son running TAT.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that. So again, you jump out yourself now. For what Richard pointed out is not an obscene word. We do agree with it. I certainly don't agree with it. You understand? But it's not an obscene word at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is to say, people may not like it, support it, want it to be used especially in certain circles and stuff. We definitely want to hold the politicians to a higher standard, hoping that they can all climb above that. Although I see in the newspapers today that the Homeland Security Minister, he too are jumping the fray with his comments, So when will it end? When will it stop?
That minister stay away from the media, he hadn't.
When will it stop? Definitely something should be done. But when it's happening like that, it really it seems to be politically motivated when it's like that, and especially as you said, if a certain minister son now heads the organization, go down there and tell them do that, So,
the guest we have coming in, that'll be the ideal way to start off with it, because he has spent a number of years at all levels of seniority in the media over the years. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting how his perspective on it. But we're talking PSOTT, private sector organization, when he comes in, and we will deal with that then, right? I'm sure he'll be able to enlighten us about a lot of other things that would have happened during his. Well, he's still in the media, isn't he? I think he still is, actually.
Yeah, well, that media, when say in media, it's come like the army, you don't come out here.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, some occasions just stay inside of you,
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so, but he hasn't chimed in as yet, so I'm hoping that he comes in soon,
But going back to my take on leadership, we quarreling about Dr. Rowley and his style. We quarreling about Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her style. So we need a calming influence in this country. I'm sorry, people, but if Penelope Beckles, this is my view, you don't have to agree with it. If Penelope Beckles could bring a kind of calmness to this place, then I welcome that. I don't see why. Once she could starve off them wolves that that barking and baying at her door. Because trust me, and there's
everybody infighting that taking place. The behind the scenes infighting.
Yeah, the wolves that barking at her door. Once she could starve off them, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And survive and make comments when you're supposed to make it. Because you notice she has said nothing about that. I agree with her. Stay away from that. That bacchanal written all over it. You understand?
All right. Well, our guest is here, so let's get into our Let's Talk segment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why should I wear my suit today? Good morning. My first question to you, Mr. Constantine. Anybody ever call you Wendell, Stephen?
No, sir. Good morning to you.
Because people call me Wendell Motley, they call me Wendell Constantine, and lately someone called me Wendell Eversley. You understand? So I'm wondering if anybody ever called these people Wendell Stephen?
I had the good fortune of being on a Caribbean Airlines flight on return to Port of Spain before the pandemic, and in seat A was Wendell Motley, and in seat D was Wendell Constantine. Presented a bit of a challenge when we boarded the aircraft, but that's just how life goes. You're lucky, Wendell, you haven't been called Wendell Manwari.
Well, true. No, I haven't been called Wendell Manwari, but I mean, I'm good friends with Wendell Manwari also. You know what I mean? But I would imagine you would have had your fair share of being called Wendell Motley.
Yeah, well, it has occurred on previous occasions, and it's par for the course. The fact of the matter is, they know that your name is Wendell. They may not just be quite sure whether it's Eversley, Constantine, Manwarin, Motley, you know, it goes on. Etienne.
Etienne. Well. True. I worked with Wendell Etienne also.
Yes. So
yes, thanks, sir.
At some time in the past, I presume that the name Wendell was popular to name your children. Good morning, Sir Charles.
Good morning to you, sir. It's good to see you, I must say.
It's been a while.
It has been. It really has been.
And congratulations to New Era Radio on approaching your first anniversary. To all your followers, viewers, listeners, those affiliate channels that are part and parcel of what is basically content in various platforms that perhaps, as we would say, are no longer constrained to that which meets terrestrial broadcast. So there has been some progress, and congratulations to everyone who's fully involved in your team and the work that you're doing in Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension across the diaspora and the world who tune into you on a daily basis.
Thank you.
And that's a perfect example of why you're the communications spokesperson for PSOTT.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Wendell.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I have to let you know that I am not exempt from being called Wendell. I have been called Wendell Manwarin on several occasions.
So there you go.
But I think that's more theatre related and performance related than anything else.
Yes,
so they say, hey, look, Manwarin, or Chicana coming out with something new, and I say, yeah, we coming soon.
All good. There is a camaraderie, there is an affinity, there is a warmth, a dynamism in the spirit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we do so with terms of care, endearment, acknowledgement. The fact is, they know who you are. You are someone in our society, and they simply want to, well, I'll use the word recognize you in ordinary circles, and that is a good thing. We were like that many decades ago. Some of that has been lost. If it were possible for us to return or to encourage and engender more of that camaraderie in our society, some of the things that we grouse about as a people may go the way of ordinariness and just be, flip it over the back of your shoulder. But we seem to be consumed with that which is contentious, negative, decaying, problematic, and not realizing that we're blessed with all of these gifts and talents as sons and daughters of Trinidad and Tobago to collaborate, cooperate, work with each other in order to achieve what's best for society. Always remember, long ago, we didn't have the monies in our wallets and that kind of cash, but we had a fabric and a spirit in our society that made us love and care for one another regardless of circumstances. If we have that available to us sometime in the future, I think our Trinidad and Tobago will be continued to be recognized as a warm, loving people. And that's what makes a lot of people attracted to us when we travel to various parts of the world. Anyway.
We had to copyright that. We had to copyright that and use that for a good news segment. Yes. Well said, Wendell. Well said.
But you're here in a capacity as a spokesperson for the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Could you start off probably at what was the thinking for creating this umbrella organization that incorporates all of the business chambers, etc., across Trinidad and Tobago, and what is the reason for it?
Yes, very well. Few of us in this society have the fortune of being responsible for 1.4 million people on a daily basis. Very few of us. Those that have the responsibility, at the end of the day, are perceived and considered that they must be available to everyone. Well, that is just not possible. And so from time to time, structures and communities and organizations have been formed as representative bodies of sectors and groups of people. Naturally, in the world of business, there are business chambers that have been established, and let's call them business service organizations, associations, etc., formed in Trinidad and Tobago to cater to the upliftment and enjoyment and collaboration of various disciplines. The Association of Professional Executives, APET, the Association of Auditors, ICAT, the Energy Chamber for the upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors of areas of the energy sector. The Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, the Marine Services Association of Trinidad and Tobago, the Tobago Chamber, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the American Chamber of Commerce, etc. And when you think of each of these, they're collective members. The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. So you see that we formed all of these groupings. But then, whatever may be the matters in society that need some level of attention, now require either the coming together of various organizations for one common cause, or the challenges that might be encountered when one has to meet with various business organizations. And you could appreciate every business organization has its agenda. Albeit for the well-being of its membership. That's primarily what they're looking for. At a business and government relationship level, we have therefore many private sector organizations, business service organizations, collective bodies in our country. There is a challenge when the government has to meet with each of these, because each will bring their respective contributions, suggestions, and ideas, as well as concerns and grievances and problems that they're encountering in doing business in Trinidad and Tobago, as an example. And so between the middle of last year and by the 10th of December, those more involved in the business sector in Trinidad and Tobago saw the opportunity for the establishment of an umbrella private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. This is not unique to us as a country. In the Caribbean, there's the private sector organization of Jamaica, established over 3 decades ago. There is the Barbados Private Sector Organization. There is a business association of collective entities in Guyana, each of which the PSOTT has had the opportunity to engage, discuss, learn from, get some guidance, etc. So we are a new kid on the block per se, but guided and encouraged by many of those who have seen the values in their respective territories of an umbrella organization for the business sector, and specifically the private sector. And moreover, collectively, the resources and contributions of a collective private sector organization lends to the improvement of the economic circumstances of Trinidad and Tobago. Businesses are formed and businesses pay their taxes. Businesses employ individuals. Businesses export their items. Businesses grow opportunity for a country to be recognized as punching above their weight and a competitor in the global economic space. So there's merit for it.
Yeah. So can someone in the private enterprise join directly to PSOTT, or they must come through one of the other organizations?
Fortunately, you have the option, and immediately I'm going to say PSOTT.co will get you to website location, and of course, Private Sector Organization of Trinidad and Tobago on social media channels, primarily Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at this time, so that you can see further information. But yes, as an individual, you may. As a business chamber body or collective association, you may. As a company, conglomerate or singular, you may. And based on size of organization, there would be a different tier of your annual contribution. When we started, we afforded those who initiated the establishment of the private sector organization, Trinidad and Tobago, a 2-year membership in the first instance. Many of those who sponsored the launch in December last year also have that entitlement. And from these entities, there is the board of the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. So you could find distinct and separate chamber representatives now on the board of the PSOTT. A lot of work to do, but we're starting off first by ensuring that formation is well established and opportunities for all in the private business sector can be facilitated.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Wendell.
Let me just finish this point, Richard. The second part of my question, you kind of answered it in terms of the tier in terms of membership. But what would qualify a business to actually join in? Is there a standard? Is there a tier there?
Registered entity, as in the company's registry of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Name and reputation. And let's just call it all of those fiduciary and other accountability matrices that we would find if we wish to open a bank account, if we wish to establish a new address for our business. It is your integrity, whether your name is Najib Elias and Sons, or whether your name is Fujitsu Trinidad, that you can register with the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Where the merit comes in is that your contribution, not the monies, but the experience, the intellectual abilities, the workforce, etc., lends to the collective improvement of some circumstances in our country. Or say it another way. Tell me a business in this country that hasn't had a tried and tested experience that can lend to the improvement of how we do business in any of the respective sectors. People who might have opened a computer repair firm in 1990, but they're now dealing with iPads and tablets. They're now dealing with telecommunications, or a radio station of DJs and announcers and a newsroom that pivoted from free-to-air channels to online platforms that suddenly opened up the world to their listening rather than simply narrowed to 1.4 million or wherever they were licensed to broadcast. So we look for the opportunities, but it is your integrity, it is your business structure that makes you eligible, and that's what you're bringing to bear. And all I can say is that we encourage, and we have been fortunate to have received very supportive participation from across that slice. Chambers, conglomerates, individual businesses, individuals with that skill set, and even those at academia who would like to learn more or share their research with us for the purpose of improving the way we do business in our country.
Excellent.
Well, Wendell, I had the opportunity yesterday to go through your website and see that, you know, because you also have it categorized in how many people are in companies, if your company is over 150, if it's less than 150, in terms of, you know, makeup, etc. So I thought it was very well tiered out in terms of trying to include everybody who is involved in the business sector in Trinidad and Tobago. One of my things, though, that I was wondering is, how do you get to some sort of consensus of what you're going to tackle? And hear me out, because the energy sector will have its own concerns vis-a-vis conglomerates in the retail industry, vis-a-vis a small computer repair company like what you suggested there. How do you amalgamate all of these concerns and choose what you are advocating for? Does the board decide that?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. Thank you, Richard. So I'll give you an easy comparator. Bagas Company, Raymond Chukong Company, Crazy Catholic could all be members of the Drama Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Fair?
Yeah.
The concerns or production requirements of a Richard Raghubar Singh Productions may require or be comfortable with a Central Bank auditorium or a Queen's Hall venue, whereas Crazy Catholic might be quite comfortable doing his plays in a church or in an outdoor sphere, rather than needing to be in that theater environment. And I'm using that loosely. This is the same. What the Drama Association will want to look after are the key enabling factors for talent and theater to thrive in Trinidad and Tobago. So let's now convert that to the private sector. At no point is the private sector going to usurp or step into the corridors where the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, the Manufacturers Association, the Energy Chamber, and others have as their core areas, their specialties. We could see it very well when we say energy sector. But what happens with all shipments that arrive to Trinidad and Tobago? Are there customs and or port matters that spread across the multiplicity of sectors? Are there challenges with freight? We could say immediately, one of the primary concerns for a business operation would have to do with foreign exchange. If their materials need to be imported in order to produce their product, and then the shipment ability to export to various markets. Now, that does not mean that we don't have work to do to curb any tendencies in the marketplace that may place inequality or where there are challenges that are known to us as a private sector and a business community. But there are some overarching areas: economic competitiveness and diversification, ease of doing business and business climate solutions, digital transformation and innovation and technology, trade, investment and internationalization, sustainable development and governance, and then sector development and national capacity building. You could see those as going well across the respective business associations that I've just spoken about, business service organizations that I've spoken about, against conglomerates. You can see it going well across conglomerates, well across the car business versus the car rental business versus the car cleaning business, each of which will have their domestic concerns, whilst the private sector is seeking to work with all agencies and entities to improve the overarching environment for the benefit of the economy of the country, for the benefit of business. That's why business is there. They're in the business to do what they do. But then at the end of the day, to improve the competitiveness of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the global economic space. Many years before, the comparisons to Singapore, to Malaysia, the comparisons to a city in Canada or an area in Latin America, that's where we have been placed. We are not just a Caribbean island south of North America. We function in various spheres. There was pride because pitch was available from the pitch lake. There was pride because oil was available from the refinery. There is pride because gas is available from Atlantic LNG and others. Those are the areas that we have competed globally. And I dare say, in the same manner that any part of the world that you travel, you will find a Trinbagonian playing some part. Normally, when you're trying to do some transaction, the person on the other side says, "You're from Trinidad?" And you suddenly realize that we are technically everywhere. There's a Trinbagonian in most spheres. Well, the same obtains for businesses. We would like to be in those competitive spaces once again. Naturally, the environment has changed, as New Era Radio is demonstrating. And so businesses have to pivot, align, refine, and then strategize the way forward for that which is the private sector in the country, because it redounds to the benefit of the economy of the country and thereby the well-being of all of our citizens.
Wendell, outside of what you would have just explained in terms of some of the benefits that businesses can derive from being part of your organization, the question is, how do you identify as being part of PSOTT?
Sure.
Is there a sticker? How would someone know that, hey, this is a member of PSOTT and we need to extend courtesies to him?
Right. So we're very careful at this time that when you are in formation phase, let's face it, right? This bird was only hatched on the 10th of December, right? So wings are still being strengthened. Mommy still has to come into the nest every day and ensure that all the children are there. But at some point in time, this identity that you're speaking of may be a crest, a tagline associated with the businesses, or moreover, the way we promote the private sector will have some enhancement that says a member of the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago, or part of the private sector movement to improve the economic well-being of Trinidad and Tobago. We have to be very careful. For many, many years, because of circumstances, it is the challenges that come out first as the sort of part of unification, right? And then we say words like the enemy of my enemy is my friend and those kinds of things. We have to be careful of that, okay? Each business in this country, each citizen in this country has one place that is home, here. Whilst you may go out and find your dual citizenship and these other things, the fact is that our home needs to improve. And the home won't improve for just a 1 or for 100 or for a district. The home must improve for 1.4 million. What can the private sector do to improve the home for 1.4 million? First, come together to work in unison for the improvement of some of those things that have been bugbears. We're making little steps, bit by bit. I'll tell you that the private sector organization has been fortunate to be invited to weekly meetings of the strategic direction of the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism. Our involvement is because we have the industry knowledge. We've had the bruised hands, knees, and elbows. We've had the loss. We've taken the challenges. And so when the state is looking to create enabling environments for the majority, where would you get lessons learned from? Or do we really want to start all over? Well, no one does that anymore. They start from where they have their experience and move to the next rung, and they gain experience there. And if they happen to slip, they take it up from that point and they go again. So the same obtains in this instance. We are able to lend, share, collaborate with our knowledge and experience in certain areas that opens opportunity for the state to learn better of how to be of service, the public service for the business of Trinidad and Tobago. Most recently, and you will be seeing more of this, private sector organization has worked closely with Customs, the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Tourism, as well as the Marine Services Association of Trinidad and Tobago to improve the yachting environment at Chaguaramas. All right, to improve the way that a vessel will be able to fill out all of their entries whilst they're on their vessel in the North Coast before entering the waters of the port, before coming to the customs office at Chaguaramas. And this then opens up the opportunity for more yachties to share that good news. And then we start working towards what can happen when your yacht comes in here. How safe is our port during the hurricane season, June 1st all the way down to the end of November? Would we want to see more of the yachting community coming to Trinidad and Tobago? And if we do, then what's their transport like on land? Where will they eat? Where will they get groceries? If they wish an Airbnb and they don't want to stay on the yacht, where would that be available? And suddenly you see services and courtesies being needed to serve an improved yachting sector. And I'm just using that as an example, but that's one of the areas that we've been doing some work because it has been identified that that particular sphere has economic opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago. Small win, but we're working towards it.
Yeah. Wendell, my last question will be addressing one of the elephants in the room, of course.
Sure.
All this talk with cartels and drug money and so on. How is PSOTT to vet? Will PSOTT have a vetting system in terms of the businesses that will be entering?
Yes, there is. You better have your house in order because the organization itself does not consist of persons who wish their integrity or their long service to the country to be compromised in any way. And so, yes, a clean house, welcome. And if your businesses are encountering any challenges, whether it be in being able to complete certain obligations of an entity doing business in Trinidad and Tobago, that too is an opportunity for improvement. You want to clean up your act. Because if you can't clean up your act, we can't stop the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago from doing their job. They have a job to do for a specific reason that we are well aware of. We can't allow the laws of Trinidad and Tobago not to be passed to create a safer environment. When investment wants to come here, it does not wish to come here to be involved in chaos and bacchanal. So we better clean it up. Each of us has a responsibility. The same responsibility, Wendell, that we have on a morning, whether with disinfectant and water, or a hose, or a bucket, or a broom, to clean in front of our homes, to keep our street and neighborhood clean, is the same responsibility that the private sector has, particularly now that there's an umbrella organization to ensure the integrity, the fair-mindedness, and the proper ethics and governance structure that should obtain for any entity that wants to be part of us. I dare say And this is just me speaking as Wendell Constantine. And should we encounter entities that have found themselves in difficulties that are part of the organization, then there has to be, at board and executive level, a mechanism to address the matter frontally. It can't be swept under the carpet. There's too much involved, and this then becomes an accountability framework to the people and citizens of the country, whom at the end of the day we are serving, because when we pay our taxes, that's how a number of economic improvements come to be of benefit to the society, which we enjoy right now. The lights are on, water is running in some places, more work to do. So thanks for asking a question in that regard. Your integrity and your transparency and your good governance are key criteria, and it augurs well if you would do what is best for your organization before submitting yourselves to be part and parcel of what is intended to be a well-serving entity in the country.
Yeah, appreciate it. Any other questions, guys? I know we are at 8 a.m. Well, just after the news time.
Yeah. No, actually, I think that was it basically. Yeah. But we really want to thank Wendell for coming on board and sharing the insight of the organization with us. So before we go, tell people how to get in contact with you guys again, now, Wendell.
Certainly. So it's the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago, the long name, and the acronym is PSOTT. Website is psott.co. Social medias are Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at this time. And if you just simply wish to email us for any information or any questions that you may wish to have clarified, it's office@psott.co. That's office@psott.co. And Richard and Sir Charles, may I do what I used to do before?
What is that?
The time in Trinidad and Tobago is 2 minutes after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Right? With a gentleman with swords somewhere in the background.
Oh, you work with him too?
Yes.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
And the difference was,
I really appreciate it.
At no point in time did I use his what would you call that? His pseudonym, his other name. I used his government name.
Ricardo, you call him.
Yeah. He would say, God rest his soul, he would say, well, Mr. Constantine is here to give us an update. What do you have for us? Thank you, Ricardo. Good morning, everyone. And the news. The news must not be involved in the kang-kang and back.
Thank you very much.
Wendell, it's been a pleasure. It's been really a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Take care. Right. Of course, that was Wendell Constantine telling us about PSOTT, the private sector organization of Trinidad and Tobago. Morning, Amjad Ali.
I know, and as we get,
hold on. We are going to the news.
That's what it's going to say.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now for Monday, the 23rd of March, on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The United States is assisting Trinidad and Tobago with infrastructure to support an advanced passenger screening system aimed at identifying potential threats before travelers arrive. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Besessar made the announcement following Eid al-Fitr celebrations, outlining measures to strengthen national security. She says legislation for the Advanced Passenger Information System, or APIS, is expected soon, which will allow authorities to vet passengers prior to arrival. The system will work alongside new online immigration forms now being introduced at the country's ports of entry. The Prime Minister says the initiative forms part of broader efforts to modernize border security through international cooperation. She also defended the ongoing state of emergency, noting that murders have declined, but further reductions are needed. Meanwhile, she confirmed that a U.S.-operated radar system previously based in Tobago has been removed, stating it had been beneficial but was withdrawn due to changing priorities by U.S. authorities. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure says repairs to pavements and related infrastructure are being prioritized as funding becomes available. Works Minister Jerlene John says the Highways Division conducts fortnightly inspections to identify areas requiring maintenance, with work prioritized based on road conditions, traffic levels, and safety risks. She says repairs include resurfacing, reconstruction, and stabilization works across the country's road network. Along the southern main road, more than 100 defective or missing manhole covers and over 200 meters of pavement have been identified for repair. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padareth says an audit of street lighting has been completed, with plans for repairs and replacements. He says an aggressive program will be rolled out in the coming weeks as the government moves to address outdated infrastructure and ongoing power disruptions caused by aging systems. International hotel chain Hilton is preparing to withdraw its brand from the Hilton Trinidad and Conference Center after government failed to carry out critical upgrades needed to maintain international standards. Investigations reveal the move follows years of financial underperformance, delayed capital works, and a short-term extension of the hotel's lease, which expired in 2023. Under the agreement, the state, through NETT, is responsible for major repairs, while Hilton provides branding and management. But refurbishment works, estimated at over $600,000, have not been undertaken, with no funding allocated this fiscal year. The Communication Workers Union is also raising concern, citing low occupancy and reduced working hours for staff. While discussions between government and Hilton are ongoing, analysts say the one-year lease extension signaled a likely exit. Murders, kidnappings, and other serious crimes continue despite the ongoing state of emergency. Criminologists say the measure cannot fully deter criminal activity, noting it targets specific types of offenses while others persist. Data shows 76 murders recorded so far this year, compared with 85 at the same time last year. Criminologist Dr. Randy Seepersad says the SOE is structured to suppress gang-related killings, which account for about 40% of murders, particularly through increased police and military presence in high-crime areas. However, he says the remaining 60%, linked to domestic violence, robberies, and other disputes, require different interventions and are less predictable. Criminologist Darius Figuera adds that the SOE has limited impact on organized crime and crimes of passion, noting that criminal networks often operate outside its influence. Both experts say, while the SOE may reduce certain categories of crime, broader strategies are needed to address overall violence. Spiritual Baptists say they were initially denied permission to host a planned march in San Fernando, ahead of commemorations marking 75 years since the repeal of the Shouter Prohibition Ordinance. Police have since clarified the decision was due to a late application, not restrictions under the state of emergency. Head of the organization, King Shepherd Ray Brathwaite, says the group had planned a march following prayers, but proceeded with a modified observance. A wayside service was held on Harris Promenade to mark the start of a week of activities. Police say the request was submitted less than 48 hours before the event, short of the required 8-day notice needed for approvals. They add there would likely have been no issue granting permission if the application had been submitted on time. In international news, many Lebanese fear Israeli strikes on key infrastructure are aimed at isolating the south ahead of a possible ground invasion. Bridges and transport links have been targeted, raising concerns that displaced residents may be unable to return to affected areas. More than 1 million people have been forced from their homes, with entire communities destroyed and over 1,000 deaths reported since the conflict escalated. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has described the attacks on bridges as a dangerous escalation and a possible prelude to invasion, calling for international intervention. Israel maintains it is targeting Hezbollah, but the United Nations Human Rights Office has raised concerns that some strikes may violate international law. The conflict continues to intensify, with growing humanitarian concerns and displacement across the country. And that is news at this time. Stay with us. Excellent programming continues in a few moments.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Now, due to phenomenal public demand, Scandal in Cedrus now comes to Cipriani College for 2 nights only. Saturday the 28th of March at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 29th at 6:30 p.m. This is theater at its finest and funniest. Don't miss it. Box office opens at Cipriani College on Monday the 23rd of March, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Cedrus, Cipriani College, we come in. Scandal in Cedrus. S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Save more now at Furniture Plus. Get a pair of pillows for only $49, queen mattresses from $7.99, free gifts with select purchases, plus extra discounts on higher purchase plans. Hurry, visit any Furniture Plus showroom today.
End times is here. Are you prepared? Check us on New Era TT Radio or NETT Radio with Brother Raka and Brother Yatazakawa on Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. End times is here. Stay tuned.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Breakfast Show. And of course, you're listening to NETT Radio, New Era TT Radio. And for all our friends on TuneIn, remember you are now tuning in at NETT Radio Trinidad. All right, you get us there. Yeah.
All right, that was a nice, refreshing interview with Wendell Constantine. For an organization that's new, he's very familiar with it. And I mean, I like what I was hearing. I'm hoping a lot of small businesses take advantage because there's nothing there. I mean, there was a small business there. I think there is a small business association, but you don't hear much about them. You know what I mean? So maybe small businesses, they'll have some room for small businesses also to get in on it, you know? So,
yeah, guys, I am now reading of a scam that these people bought accommodation to this place in Tobago, and they came for the Eid holiday and realizing that nothing like that exists.
What?
Yeah.
People come from where?
I'm very fair. They say a group of visitors, a group of 14 visitors from Trinidad was scammed out of thousands of dollars after, so it's probably right here, right? Booking accommodation with Tobago Haven Villas, only to arrive in Tobago and discover that the villa does not exist. Tobago police have been investigating the matter. The group arrived in Tobago for the Eid long weekend, only to discover that the Tobago Haven Villas they had booked did not exist, and their calls to the contact person were unanswered. Further checks revealed that the photos used in the fake profiles for Tobago Haven Villas, Luxury Villas, Tobago, and Shervan Road Villas were actually images of other resorts in the region. Another victim who discovered the scam after seeing an advertisement on TikTok shared her experience. And she's quoted as saying it came up on Airbnb for a villa in Barbados. As you can see, they are using the same exact photos that they have posted on their pages. Wow.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but every people trying all kind of crazy things now, and I mean, there's still people. I mean, I could see people getting catch with that one, though.
Yeah, which makes you wonder, because if you, I mean, this is probably people from right here in Trinidad going to Tobago. Well,
Yeah.
no, if anybody tell you come and go at this Ababa, you have to make sure we're going.
No, well, I go in with Captain Ron and Fifi send me in.
You have to know where you're going now. Yeah. Because the internet is a place where all manner of scams are taking place.
Yeah, I mean, Airbnbs, people, I mean, they go give Airbnb a bad name.
That is the
They
thing.
do that. Because most Airbnb places don't have that kind of level of scrutiny, and you're taking a chance when you book a Airbnb. I generally tend not to do Airbnb. I go to established hotel. You know what I mean?
And that is it. So people who are genuinely doing that business now, you're going to have problems, because people now are not going to want to use the Airbnbs because they'll tell themselves it's some scam. And just like on Facebook and other places like the marketplace, people who normally would have been selling genuine items there are now catching their tail to sell things on the marketplace, because criminals have infiltrated the marketplace, setting up people to say they have this and they have that, and when they go, they rob the people.
Yeah.
So people are not even the marketplace, where people used to actually get real deals. People are fearful of going and buying stuff in the marketplace now.
Yeah.
So these criminals make it very difficult for legitimate business to thrive in those situations.
Yeah, that's a sad story, though.
Yeah. So if you have something to sell, for example, and you go up on the marketplace, so like I normally would sell my TV, or you see something that somebody is selling, and it like a good deal, because normally you would get good deals here and things that people are selling, and so you can't even take a chance to buy it, because you might go to buy it, and when you go, somebody hold you up, take your money, take your car, take everything,
Well, that happened to a gentleman. I read a story over the weekend where this 60-something-year-old gentleman from Fairways in Maraval met this guy by Smokey and Bunty. And after like 6 months, I guess, of talking to the person, or maybe lying, well, he invited the person to his home for drinks. And the man robbed him. The man take everything, including the car, all his bank cards and thing, his phone and cash, and disappear. Of course, there was a very apt description of the guy, tall with a 6 feet tall with a ponytail and missing a couple teeth. You know what I mean? Everybody
about.
I read a man with a ponytail, 6 feet tall, and missing a.
Look at it now. Any red tall man, open your mouth.
They rob a fella in Fairways in Maraval. Poor man. He was just probably looking for companionship, and next thing you know,
6 months, he talking to this person was 6 months.
Yeah.
And the first time you get the opportunity to go and check the man say, come across and check me. We're going to take 2 drinks. You rob the man, tap the man, thief the man, stuff and thing. You know?
Crazy.
Wow. It's getting really ridiculous when they're... And I mean, like, I'm reading the Airbnb situation, and I am wondering, so, you always hear about places like in Panama and other places where you have accounts, because like I always wonder when hackers hack into the systems like in the US and other places and ask for all of this money, and it is transferred to them without a trace and all that. I am wondering how that happens, so that somebody could demand $2 billion and you could pay that, and that money, you just have no access as to who collect that money, So it's the same thing I'm wondering now with these situations. So if somebody put something on social media, they have a contact number, nowhere we should be. These things people should not get away with these things, man.
Well, the thing about it is that I don't know if our security services even how I should put it, engage these kind of scams and say, you know what, let's do a sting operation and let's get somebody. I think they just say, well, all right, that's your business, you were careless, and take the report, get them a receipt there, that's my impression of how our police deal with things like that. I don't know that they take it seriously, because we have spoken personally about an incident with Richard on a bicycle, about me with my an incident by Rumbox with a fan. I don't think they take these things serious, Sir Charles. I don't think they take it serious. They just put it down as your carelessness and, well, whatever happened. You understand?
Yeah. But these are things that the police, I mean, of course, the police in Trinidad and Tobago must say, how rare work. That's why things just take so long. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are supposed to be detecting crime and breaking up these scams, because sometimes it starts with one or two persons, you know. If and then others say, hey, that happened, we could go ahead and do it now. You know, come on, we need to break these cycles early in the game. Those persons who are scammed out of that money, the police this morning, we should have been reading that the police done hold two of them already.
If I had a friend who had a chance to contribute on this show this morning, he would tell you one of the biggest scams is probably marriage. But
I go there as well. We did
one of the biggest scams you were involved in, and plenty men get take with his marriage. But
oh Lord,
that was just a joke, people.
Yes. Don't take Wendell serious with
I'm
that.
telling you.
No, but I would have hoped that, you know, these things, if the police are active on these things, and we hear immediately where those persons who went through that situation, scamming these people, that they are held, and that is plus out that these persons did this and they were held. We now have persons before will be heading to court or whatever is the case. It will make others think twice, because you know what? Hey, yeah, boy. But when it goes unchecked and nobody is held, somebody else saying, oh, good, and I was thinking that same thing too, boy. That man beat me to it, boy.
Well, a scammer is a scammer. He don't even need, he might even be concerned that person down the road get home. But I agree with you that they need to take these things, these types of crimes a little more seriously and make people pay. Yeah. Scorpion Pepper, somebody also sent that for me. That Donald Trump, the US, has issued a 5-day ceasefire on. Let me find this story for you. Trump postpones threatened strikes against Iranian power plants due to productive talks. He is saying that they have had productive talks with Iran, and Iran is saying he's lying. So they don't know what to believe. They don't know what to believe.
That is what I tell you. You see the power of these things now. We don't know what to believe. But I was reading just yesterday that Iran was saying, if he goes ahead with that strike, we will close off the Straits of Hormuz. Close it off. You know, so he probably may not want that to happen. But because he's threatening that strike on Iran, you know, if he gets through with that, well, that will totally, you know, obliterate that area with that. And they say, well, all right, well, if we go ahead and do that, we will just close off the streets. So the one or two people who passing through right now, nobody will be able to pass. Nobody.
Yeah. And Anon, I agree with you. I think the US is looking for exit strategy out of this thing. By claiming that they have obliterated Iran and all the ships and all the missiles and everything, they're looking for an exit strategy. I don't know how they're going to get it, because Iran ain't interested in no exit. They're interested in exacting revenge on the US and its allies. That's what they're interested in. And however long it take them, because I don't know that any one of them talking anything about peace or we forgive you. You kill our religious leader. You understand? You killed 150 odd schoolgirls. Those are two things. All the other things are you consider it victims of war. You understand? But you see, those two hurting Iran, and it will hurt them forever and ever. Trust me.
Yeah, that is something else, you know. Exit strategy. I don't know. I don't know if this is an exit strategy now, because I think they are fully well aware that this thing will probably be running for the next 300 years.
But now I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Iran has to have a whole change of people there to decide, hey, this is not worth it for that to stop.
Yeah.
Because as it is now the Khamenei's son in charge. You understand? And who knows what's going to happen down the road. The people are angry, they are hurt, they have been affected in a lot of ways. So we'll see where it goes. Yes.
Have you read this story with the Trinidad Hilton who may be looking to exit? What's really happening with that situation there?
Yeah, Richard referred to it, early on, about the brand Trinidad Hilton, but it's not a now thing, Apparently, it's not a now thing. Yeah, apparently it's been brewing over a few years now, where the governments have not been spending any money on the hotel to upgrade the hotel and so on. You know what I mean? But I don't
keeping your part of the bargain, then So apparently our governments over the years have not really been doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then how serious are we about the tourism drive if that is the case now? I feel everybody can go by Hyatt. We only want one main hotel. That's what we want. Wow. Because right opposite the Hyatt where we used to go and Lyman party, that hotel has well run down to it.
That's
yeah. What let's call it now?
Well, it was Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
It had a few names, but I think it's now Crown Plaza, right?
I think so, but boy, they need to do some work on that place. A couple of months ago, I went to meet somebody there to talk about some stuff and thing. I said, well, what is going on here? Wow.
Yeah.
The downstairs area looking pretty all right. Like the ballroom area and the regular reception area. But I had to go upstairs and
Radisson. That's what it is now. It was Crown Plaza in between there. So it was Holiday Inn, Crown Plaza, now it's Radisson. And Scorpion Pepper and Dino.
They need to do some serious work on that place, boy. Yeah. So I don't know where we're really going with this tourism thing. We talk about it, and then we talk about all these places we want to bring on board for more rooms and all these kinds of things. But what do? Bring more rooms, build more newer hotels and all kinds of stuff, and then we are not taking care of them. And what will eventually happen? They will run down. We have to get serious about it. Mr. Rakobar Singh, you're back?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Where are you going?
We're talking about the tourism situation. So how serious are we about it? You have any comments on it?
No, I thought this. So you're not taking calls?
Yeah, just about to. We were waiting for you to find out if you had put our future to the calls.
An opinion on tourism in Trinidad and Tobago. Is this connected to the Hilton exiting, possibly?
Yes, it started there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of the experts we have talked about in terms of the economy over the years, they've always said that tourism was a low-hanging fruit that we have never actually taken seriously in terms of how we deal with tourism. So tourism exists in Trinidad and Tobago despite all of that. And of course, as the world becomes more democratic in where you can stay, because you have so many Airbnbs and places you can stay now, it will still happen. And because you have so many people who vlog about traveling and stuff, they will still come. And I mean, to the credit of Trinidad and Tobago, they're always indicative of how warm we are and how friendly we are as a people. So there is a tourism product there in terms of ecotourism, in terms of traditional Caribbean tourism, in terms of festival tourism, in terms of just good old liming tourism. And you just have to make sure that the infrastructure of what tourists need to do and how they get to where they need to do be improved upon. And that includes things like theater, that includes things like the performance arts. All of that is what people, when they visit a country, go to. Huh?
Yeah, you're right, Richard.
So.
You're right. Because when you travel, you almost seek out these places to go see a play that's taking place at Radio City or at Queen Elizabeth, I think. There's one in some one of those countries. Or even anywhere you go seeking out these places. You know what I mean?
You're always looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's open the lines. Let's take your calls. We can take a couple of calls before we get out of here this morning. Good morning to you, caller.
Charles, good morning.
Morning, Dabadi.
Wendell and Richard, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Station, like Sir Charles don't know to pick up my phone when he see number, right, Sir Charles?
But how you here now?
Can I get you?
Yeah.
The entire week last week I haven't got a partner to speak because Sir Charles refused my call. Anyway, Richard, come on and say all they can call and Richard gone and talk in. All right, Richard. That was the excuse to talk more. Anyway, concerning the tourism, well, we are not known for tourism anyway, because not just the hotel accommodation, the basic thing as courtesy on the roads. I went to Barbados many years ago, and I saw where, when you're coming out from a side street, as soon as you drive out and reach that stop sign, you put on the indicator either left or right, somebody is already giving you a way to go. Past one time, you didn't have to wait like in Trinidad. You actually for a blind, you're literally begging, you put on your hand, and nobody started giving you a chance. So tourists not accustomed to that. So we had to spread our own courtesies because we are selfish people, right? That is one. Well, I said bringing up the crime. That Jamaica has more crime on the years gone by than Trinidad, and they always have tourists. There's never a time in Jamaica tourism. Probably during COVID only. But when the tourist arrival is not good. Jamaica is tourist driven, and that's what we want here.
So what it is they're doing that we're not doing, boy?
Marketing.
They're doing nothing because we are not tourism. We are tourist driven. We are not. This week growing up, I say, but how come people who come to Trinidad so often and they go to the island? They go to Antigua always. Full of people in the hotel wherever you stay. They go to Barbados, they go to St. Lucia. Look at St. Lucia now.
And some of those
long time small island. Now they are big islands, because every time you have many visits in Lucia, it always have a lot of people. And I could tell from the hotel they stay in or when you go at the beach. So we are not doing anything to bring tourists here. But the hotels like Hilton, for instance, we only want it now because we only want it for Carnival now because we don't have enough room for Carnival visitors. But generally, nothing else happening to encourage tourists to come to Trinidad. Very Wildflower Trust and all that. We still have that, do we? Do we upkeep those things? What are we going to look at? So you all have a good day.
All right, okay, no problem.
And I'll speak, in case I get back again.
All right, okay, no problem. Thanks very much. Dabity. Yeah, but the thing about it is that I was reading somewhere also, Wendell, as while we were talking about Trinidad and Tobago Carnival, right? And we talk about when there's Carnival, there's an influx. And they talked about a particular cruise ship that came with how many hundreds of visitors. But they also identified in that same article, there are places that don't have carnival, that don't have nothing happening, and that is a normal day for them. In the Caribbean, so Trinidad, we got to look at this thing serious. I don't know when we will do that. Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, morning, Wendell and Mr. Gerard Bassing. Morning, Trinidad.
Morning.
I hear people they'll be talking about tourism in Jamaica, tourism in Mexico, and solution. But you know, those places have certain places designated for tourists, like Montego Bay, like Cancun, and certain zones in St. Lucia and then places.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Yes, yes.
A lot of people don't know that. So we call it Trinidad a tourist country. What zone in Trinidad have a tourist by?
Yeah, because Port of Spain is not even safe.
Port of Spain no zone for no tourists.
Yeah.
And yesterday, a fish van passed around Sabah, $100 in fish. The guy gave me that a price. He said this week, fish going up by 50 to 75%.
Yeah.
Why people are trying to do them things around holiday season, boy? Why people are do that?
Yeah.
So something wrong with the fish them time, though.
I don't know. But what people have to do is just like you, buy a fish early. So when you reach to that point in time, let them keep the fish.
Well, I know you could go in the grocery and get 2 tuna sardines.
All that.
Like fish.
Yes.
Like fish. But you know, Trinidadian, when they come to the holidays and the festival and the religious festivals and things like Eid and Diwali,
on salmon.
Fruits just raised.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Fruits just raised for Eid and Diwali. Right? And for Christmas time, chicken and pork and everything was raised. Why we just do that?
Because it's a time for the small businessman and whoever doing those things to make a little extra money. That's all. And because it's a supply and demand. Because if people wanted more, then that's what they do. Raise prices to get an extra dollar. That is up to you. If you want to buy it.
Yeah, but fish just really go off the scale at that point in time. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Robert, good morning.
Yeah, morning again. I know you're all on tourism, but I want to touch on a little point with respect to the police service doing the job. I want to give hats off to them for the job that they did, the well-planned execution that they did. Not execution, I should say, but the well-planned exercise that they did in Barataria, where they got information of somebody selling a car, and they went in plain clothes, and they were confronted by gunmen. One of the cars where police officers were sitting and they pointed guns at them. And there were several unmarked vehicles that came out and challenged the gunmen. So I think 2 of them were killed or something like that. I think they should have more exercises like this, because back in the day, they used to have a lot of plain clothes exercises, people dressing in rags and things, and they go in and they, as they get the information, they set up this thing exercise. I think they should have more of that, right? The buck have to stop somewhere, because crime is too prevalent in this country, as everybody knows. It's a known factor. I'm not saying anything new. But I think the police have to come up with new strategies, right? Particularly like the one they did in Barataria sometime last week or week before. And set up a lot of sting operations, and then we'll be getting somewhere, However, with respect to tourism, as the guy safely said, Port of Spain is not an area, it's so crime-ridden. Right? That we tourists can walk these streets. From the time you come off the boat, people market. You understand? From the time you come off the boat, people market. So, gentlemen, I think the police service have to come up with new ideas. Go back in time. We used to do it long ago. The police service had a lot of sting operation long ago when they used to go and set up stings to hold people. You don't know it's police. You ain't coming in marked vehicles. You may have a police officer in uniform who drive in the unmarked vehicle, so that in case anything happens, you will know, yes, this is police. But they need to change the strategy, and then we'll get somewhere. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know that story that you referred to, though. But the police commissioner busy right now responding to Gary Griffith. He's not responding to nothing else. He's busy telling Gary he's not a police officer and he this and he that and the other. That's what he's busy doing.
Wait. In all fairness to the man, after the last thing that the man put out last week, he put out something else again?
No, but that's what I'm saying. He's not just saying nothing else.
Well, that's
he jumped out the whole self to tell Gary to abuse of Gary. And nothing about Joshua Samaru killing. Nothing about the drugs that they moved from the police station and put wood. Nothing about anything. Nothing about the crime situation. Nothing about the radar. And he was vociferous on the radar. How it find the boat in the Caroni Swamp. Nothing about the radar leaving here. But you're talking Gary Griffith. But you and Gary Griffith could spy it out. You all go ahead.
Yeah, Gary spied it out on social media.
Gary ain't stopping. I tell him that, you know.
I think I got
the only problem I have with Gary is he's sending a set of posts about this man who will never form part of my social media sharing or anything.
So did I miss something? Did you all start the Let's Talk the Police segment and I didn't know?
No, we had some former police officers calling in.
Yeah. Hold 1 minute there, guys. Caller, good morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Yeah.
She wake up, caller. She wake up.
I woke up. I don't know what Sir Charles did and cut me off.
I just had a TTQ moment.
I was ready to make my contribution.
No, you were making a contribution, but you weren't ready.
I was quite ready. Very, very ready. But no. Anyhow, all upon me enough. Let me just come back. I want to get back to the question you all asked, that poll. You know, I'm trying to understand what is controversial language. That is what the TikTok said, Wendell.
I can't remember the word they use to describe the language.
I am saying the world thrives on conversational and controversial language. Because listen to me, if you have controversy, how you would debate and deal and sort with a problem. You understand me? So I can't see that they come into. If you tell me obscene language is a different thing, but you can't tell me that you don't want that kind of language. It's just, that's another word for argumentation, you know. You must have that kind of language. People must have opposing opinions. And as I said again the last day, everybody was making it into on the air, making it song any word like if it's a bad word. Jamet is not a bad word.
Well, you know, but part I hear you, Zena. I hear you, and part of me wants that to penalize CNC3. And and let me tell you what I want to happen. I want them to go down the road of telling CNC3 whatever and penalizing them in some way. And I want CNC3 to take it to court. because so it establishes the ground rules in terms of things like that. When you take it to court, what does the freedom of the press mean? And what does freedom of speech mean? And I always had that problem when Hubert Volney, as a judge, had
summoned Sprang Alang and Christian to his court because of what
the matter was sub judice.
Yeah.
Right? And I always had a problem with MAT, the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago, not taking on that fight. Because this whole idea of sub judice and all of that can be subjective sometimes. So where are those lines really drawn? It has never been challenged. And it should have been challenged then as a media thing. Where does freedom of press end and sub judice begin?
And that don't take on everybody, you know. I don't know how all of a sudden that gets so busy and alive. Because I could remember there was something that was said on a radio station and I wrote it down. You know what they so boldly tell me? Get a recording of the program and give them a lot of things that they are the ones that's supposed to be doing. So I said and ask the officer, so when I do that, what is your work? What you doing down in that? I have to do your work for you. I give you daytime, the name of the program, what, and you can, I have to get it for you. I say you have to be out of your ever-loving mind, sir. So I left it right there. But what I am saying is that even as Richard always say, obscene language is something that should be taken off the books. So
oh God, no, you don't want Richard cussing you every morning?
No, I don't agree that, man. Left that there.
But I am saying again that and all should be taken off the books. But I am saying,
And you are right, and it's not about being able to curse on national radio because you have your own regulations for that. But the issue is that is used as a tool. It's weaponized when the police have nothing else to charge people with.
Yep.
And I am saying that word is not a bad word. Maybe Dr. Rowlish could have used another word, but that is the person individually feel to itemize as. So I am saying it was never a bad word, but everybody, the raw people getting on like if it was something bad, obscene word, and you should never use that word. It is a normal word.
You shouldn't use that word to describe woman, any woman. I'm sorry, I will never agree with that.
Anyhow, see now we gotta go. Thanks much.
Don't describe any woman like that. Okay? I will never agree with that. So all who making it, look now, a man called me a house slave on Facebook because I object to that. He say, oh, they say all kind of thing about Dr. Rowley before, and he started calling naked name and animal name. I say, clearly you don't listen to me on radio. Because them people ain't getting a hearing by me at all. You understand? They are some of the most disrespectful people I know. You understand? But I ain't going and say, because they're disrespectful, that I go agree with Dr. Rowley where he say, no, he called me all kind of house slave and thing. That's all right.
Rise above that. Rise above that. Yeah. Anyhow, people, that's where we are leaving it for this morning. And we don't want to create any more bacchanal because we have scandal coming up this weekend.
Absolutely, scandal in Cedros is on this weekend. We are finally at Cipriani College, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. So we are here. We are here. We have arrived in Cipriani College. Tickets available at the Cipriani College box office from today, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And of course, tickets are also available at K-Square Fashions in West Mall, East Gates, Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, Jabili Rawe in Tunapuna, Electronics in Arima, and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza, and Sharfle Auto Services in Sharfle. Get your tickets early. We're so looking forward to it. So you should not miss it. Scandal in Cedros at Cipriani College this weekend.
All right. Belated birthday greetings to Jerry. That's Jerry is the son of Minister Khadija Amin. He celebrated his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, belated birthday greetings, Jerry. And of course, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let go. Right?
Yes. And of course, just reminding you again that the box office opens at Cipriani College from 12 noon to 6 p.m. today and daily. And tickets are already selling at outlets, so get it. Since last week, tickets have been selling at outlets. So get your tickets early. Don't say there no one. Yeah. Anyway, the New Era TT Radio continues on the stream, newerattradio.com and New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. Is it New Era TT Radio on TuneIn? Am I saying it correct, Charles?
No, it is NETT Radio Trinidad.
So NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn. So that's where you can get us on your smart devices. Say NETT Radio Trinidad. Sometimes you might have to say it with an accent. NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn to get it on Alexa and Google devices. And of course, the 10 people who have Siri. And oh God, that was bad of me. I'm sorry, Apple users.
Oh Lord. You can imagine allowed to cuss on radio, boy. Oh God.
Oh my word. People get sick.
Anyway, so that's it for today. Of course, we'll be here bright early tomorrow morning. And of course, you have been listening to
The Breakfast Show.
Get up, get up. It's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here. We bring in the soca way.